There's a certain tone in people's voices when they don't want to say you're too good. So instead, they say you're not quite ready. I had that tone more times than I can count. Meetings where I led the entire strategy. Presentations where I built every slide. Late nights fixing code they didn't understand. But when the credit came, Zola, you're incredible. But this promotion, it's a bit premature. You've got leadership potential, but we need someone with more presence. Presence. I had presence. I just didn't wrap mine in arrogance. It was a Monday when they told me. Quarterly meeting. Same boardroom with the fake ficus plant and stale coffee. My manager, Julia Hartman. Perfect teeth, perfect title, perfectly good at smiling while cutting throats. Looked right at me and said, "We are going in a different direction. This doesn't reflect on your performance. Please don't take it personally." But I did. And I should have. Because it was personal. I nodded. Smiled. Thanked her for the opportunity. But my hands were trembling under the table. Not from sadness. From clarity. Clarity burns hotter than anger. That same evening, my boyfriend, Devin, came home with takeout and 2 champagne flutes. He said he had news. I didn't say a word. I let him talk. They offered me the promotion. Can you believe it? Out of nowhere. Nowhere. It wasn't nowhere. It was where I stood. It was the seat I warmed. The strategy one wrote. The work I carried when he took half days and forgot deadlines. He poured the champagne. Said it to us. And I raised my glass. Took the smallest sip of my life. Felt the bubbles sting my throat. Like every unspoken "how could you?" I didn't fight that night. Didn't accuse. I watched. Watched the man I loved celebrate the role I was denied. By the same company that said I lacked presence. That night, I didn't sleep. The city felt louder than usual. Cars. Wind. Sirens. Thoughts. I opened my laptop. Went through every old file. Every pitch deck with his name built by my hands. Every email chain where my contributions were edited out. Every Zoom call recording where I spoke first. And he repeated last and got the applause. Then I started making a list. Not a revenge list. Not yet. A truth list. People who pretended I wasn't in the room. People who said a great idea only after Devin said it. People who nodded when I spoke. But never defended me when Julia cut me off. And at the top of the list, Julia and Devin. Because betrayal isn't always loud. Sometimes it sounds like a toast. Sometimes it wears a suit. And kisses you goodnight. I looked around our apartment that night. Books we bought together. Photos from Zanzibar. Coffee mugs with stupid sayings. And I whispered to myself. This is not my home anymore. And this is not my ending. I had built too much to be reduced to silence. I had stayed too late, worked too hard. Sacrificed too many pieces of myself. To be erased. And if they thought I would walk away quietly, they had never seen what silence could become. When you let it burn long enough. Because I wasn't just hurt. I was ready. Ready to live. Ready to rebuild. Ready to rise without asking permission. I didn't resign the next day. I smiled. I went to work on time. Answered emails. Attended meetings. I even congratulated Devin again, twice. Once in front of the team. Once in private. He said he admired how graceful I was being. Grace has teeth. He just didn't know where they were yet. In the days that followed, I became invisible on purpose. Not passive. Just quiet. I took note of who was speaking to me differently. Some coworkers avoided eye contact. Like I had become contagious with rejection. Others offered soft condolences that sounded rehearsed. Next time, Zola. You're too good not to be noticed eventually. Eventually. I had been carrying the entire marketing infrastructure. For 3 years. Instead of defending myself, I started archiving. Emails. Memos. Meeting recordings. Slack threads. Not to use them. Yet. But because I had finally realized. This place doesn't reward work. It rewards visibility. And I've been making everyone else visible for far too long. Then I reached out to the one person I trusted. Khadija, a former colleague who left the company last year. After being passed over for a similar promotion. She now worked at a rising competitor. We met for coffee. She listened. Didn't interrupt. Didn't offer pity, just opportunity. I've been building a team, she said. One that doesn't ask women to smile through betrayal. That sentence stayed with me. I didn't tell Devon. I didn't even change my schedule. But at night, I worked on my application for Khadija's company. I updated my resume. The real one. Not the filtered, friendly version. But the truth. Built digital campaigns for 17 global clients while reporting to someone who took credit for 12 of them. Designed strategy frameworks adopted by leadership, none of whom could explain how they worked. The interview wasn't just successful. It was freeing. They asked me why I wanted to leave. I said, I'm not leaving out of weakness. I'm leaving because I finally understand my value. And I won't keep giving it away for applause I never hear. They offered me more than I'd asked. Salary. Title. Team. But more than anything, they offered me respect. My last day came quietly. No cake. No farewell speech. Julia didn't even look up when I handed in my badge. Devon stood in the hallway, looking at me like I was overreacting. You're really leaving. Just like that. Just like that. But not without remembering everything. I left my chair pushed in. My inbox clean. No parting email. Just a single note on my desk that read, "Thank you for teaching me everything I never want to become." I thought leaving would feel like running. But it didn't. It felt like flying. For the first time in years, I wasn't waking up dreading my inbox. I wasn't shrinking myself to fit in meetings. I wasn't watching someone else rise on the staircase I built. I was free. My first few weeks at the new company felt like exhaling. After holding my breath for too long, they saw me. Not just my work, me. They asked for my opinion before the strategy. They respected boundaries, celebrated boundaries. They didn't expect gratitude for basic respect. Meanwhile, I started getting LinkedIn notifications. Old colleagues viewed my profile. Some messaged me, pretending they missed me. "It's not the same without you. We are struggling to keep up with campaign metrics." Devon's been having a hard time adjusting. He took my job. Now he was finally realizing it came with more than a title. 3 weeks after I left, I heard through Khadija that the team missed a major deadline. A campaign I had built from scratch. The blueprint lost because no one knew how to run it without me. Devon had presented the wrong metrics to a client. He fumbled his way through follow-up meetings. Even Julia had to step in and explain things he pretended to understand. I didn't laugh. I didn't cheer. I just watched. Watched a structure collapse. Because it was built on stolen ideas and ego. One day, I saw an internal memo leak. The company was quietly looking for a new strategic hire to stabilize performance. And guess whose name had been floated by someone in HR? Mine. They wanted me back. Devon even reached out. Not directly, of course. A mutual friend told me he had regrets. That he didn't realize how much I did behind the scenes. That the job had been thrown on him too fast. Thrown? It had been taken. That night, I opened the note I had left on my old desk. I had snapped a picture before walking away. Thank you for teaching me everything I never want to become. I whispered it out loud. And I smiled. Because sometimes, the sweetest revenge is knowing you no longer belong in the place that once tried to break you. Not because you're bitter, but because you've outgrown it. I used to think power came with a title, a corner office, a nameplate on a door. But I was wrong. Power isn't something they give you. It's something you grow quietly until it's undeniable. And I was done asking. 3 months into my new role, I led a campaign that broke national records. Khadija gave me full rein. I didn't just deliver results. I built a team of people who had also been silenced. We worked like a symphony. No egos. No stolen ideas. Just brilliance meeting belief. Our success caught headlines. My name was in Forbes Women. My photo was retweeted by women in tech across 3 continents. But the sweetest moment, when I walked into a pitch meeting and saw Julia Hartman in the waiting room. Same suit. Same smile. Except now, I was the one holding the final decision. She stood, surprised. Reached for a handshake. Zola. I've heard incredible things. You've really taken off. I shook her hand. Politely. Professionally. But inside, I was still. The meeting went well. They needed our platform. Our numbers outpaced the industry. At the end, she said, "It would mean a lot to work with you again. I always believed in your potential." I smiled. Thank you. But we don't just work with potential. We work with proof. Later that week, I got an email. From Devon. Short. 2 sentences. You were always the smart one. I hope you're happy. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Happiness isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet confidence. In knowing you no longer owe anyone your silence. I wasn't climbing anyone's ladder anymore. I was building my own tower. And I was lighting it up. So that every woman who had ever been told, "You're not ready," could see it from wherever she stood. And know she wasn't alone. Sometimes, late at night. When the world quiets down and the noise of success fades. I remember her. The girl who sat in that conference room. Hands folded, back straight. Heart pounding beneath a blazer that was too tight. Because she kept trying to make herself smaller. To fit their idea of professional. She sat there hoping someone would see her. Hoping effort would be enough. Hoping love and loyalty and quiet competence would be louder than politics. She didn't cry. Not even when they said the words. that stole the floor from under her. You're not ready. He'll lead better. This isn't personal. But it was. And she carried that wound. Like a secret. She wasn't allowed to name. That girl. I honor her now. I wish I could hold her hand. Tell her what I know now. They didn't see you because they couldn't imagine you. You were never supposed to fit. You were meant to break the frame. Today, when I walk into rooms, people stand. They listen. They remember what I say. Not because my voice got louder, but because I stopped giving it away to people who didn't deserve to hold it. I'm not the same girl who sat in that room. She was made of hope and fear. I am made of fire and memory. I don't ask anymore. I don't wait. I build. And every woman who's ever been overlooked, underpaid, talked over, or quietly erased, I carry you with me. Because power doesn't live in one voice. It lives in many. And when one of us rises, we hold the door for the rest. My name is Zola Mbeki. And I didn't just get even. I got everything I was told I couldn't have. And I made sure they watched me rise. In silence. With grace. And without ever looking back.